Greetings. This is TimeRider at Chapter 4. This is the Morris J2 pickup, the first Matchbox to carry the number 60. It was released in 1958. It was always blue, and the variations come in the decals and the wheels, but the truck is always light blue. The word supply company were originally black and then were changed to white. This is mine. I paid $2.56 for it. And another couple of dollars for the new decals. Mine was produced in 1965, and I know this to be true because it does not have a rear cab window. And up until 1965, they had a rear window. There really isn't very much to the model. It doesn't have any interior, it doesn't have any windshield, and it's held on with two very shallow posts. So when I take this apart, I'm not going to drill it out and I'm not going to tap it. I just don't see the point. Drilling holes into the bed of the pickup and then turning around having to repair them, as I've said previously, just makes no sense whatsoever. So my intention right from the get-go is to put the thing back together with some type of adhesive. Once I had it apart, I took a little barrel bit on my rotary tool and cleaned up the edges of the posts so that when I put it back together, it'll go back together easily. I apologize that I didn't have my camera set just right, but to strip the paint, I'm trying something I saw, I believe Wheels and Things do, where I just drop the thing into a jar full of aircraft paint stripper and let it sit in there and stew. So that aircraft paint stripper is pretty vile stuff, but I will say this, it took all the paint off. And I'm just kind of going over the model here with my wire brush. It took the paint off, but it left almost kind of a chalky finish on the model. So before I started throwing paint at it, I wanted to clean it up and get it down to the metal. So having cleaned it up, it's now ready for some primer. I just used gray on this. I figured the color was light enough, and I know a lot of times under light colors I put white, but I decided to do gray. I arrived at the color by taking Tamiya X14, X2, and then that seemed almost a little bit too deep a blue, so I added, believe it or not, some X8 yellow. So as is typical, I thought I had a plug there because it didn't seem like it was painting very well. But I put my tack coat on, and then here I am putting on a little bit heavier coat and, of course, successive layers. And I followed the whole thing up with a clear coat. I thought the base looked pretty nice. I didn't want to take the tires off because I still don't have a way to put them back together that I'm completely happy with. But at any rate, the base was in pretty good condition. The axles were rusty. So I just went after them with a wire brush and did the hubs while I was at it. I also cleaned and did a tire wash on all four tires while it was still attached to the base. So there's a website, and I'll include the link in the description. Chris Falkensteiner is, I believe, the name of the maintainer of the site. But anyway, you can go on there and determine pretty much what year your car or your model was produced just by looking at the footnotes. And you might not be able to get it 100% every time, but I mean, he goes down to the degree of which wheels are crimped or secured on which side of the vehicle. So sometimes the big hub is both front rear on the left side, for example, but then sometimes they produced it with the one on each side. They did paint the rear bumper. Mine did not have a rear bumper painted, but it did have the grille, the headlights, and the front bumper. At least that was how it appeared to me. And there were some that were released that way. So I just did my best here to repeat what I saw on the internet. I probably looked at a dozen different models trying to figure out. What I was trying to figure out was how far that chrome went. Did it go into the crevasse along the outside edge of it, or was it just on the raised portion? And it looks like it was just on the raised portion. So that was pretty much all I did. Let me start by saying I love the folks at Black Square Decals. I think their product is exceptional. This is going to be kind of a long part of this segment because I broke the decal, which happens. And it was my own damn fault. It wasn't the fault of the decal. I was trying to get it off before it was ready to come off. But I'm going to show you the whole thing because I think I did a pretty good job of saving the decal. So here I am. I actually broke it into 3 pieces, but this is piece number 1. And what I'm trying to do here is just get that piece where I want it and get it flat. There was the reason I keep messing with it is because there was one little corner of it that had rolled under itself. And so I'm trying to get the thing flat. It was the corner of the P in company. And now I'm trying to get it straight. The best thing to do, there I'm trying to get that flap out. The best thing you can do when you break these things is, first of all, don't take the rest of the decal off the paper. Work the section of decal that you have in hand as if it were a separate decal. So what I'm trying to do now, essentially, is put multiple decals and connect them. Okay, so now I've got it kind of where I want it. I added some more water, and I'm going to try to get the whole thing off in one piece. Obviously, that would be the best way to go about it. Boom, I broke it again. And again, I don't think that's the fault of the decal. I think that was my own damn fault. Fortunately, I kind of had the middle piece where I wanted it, and then, of course, I messed it up. But now that I've got all the pieces on the model, I kind of have to work all of them at the same time, which I'd really rather not do. But I'm just trying to get that last piece straight. And that's pretty doggone good. So now the problem is I got to get the water out from under it. And sometimes in doing that, you wind up moving the decal. In this case, that didn't happen. There it is. So I did a clear coat over the decals, along with using a little bit of decal set. Kind of did that off camera. It's not a big deal to watch me brush something onto a decal and then spray it. The base fit right up against the casting itself. So what I did was I just put a small portion of black RTV silicone right in the middle of the chassis and just glued the base on using the posts as guides. So anyway, I think this was a great candidate for restoration. A big chunk missing out of the decal and the paint on the side, plus multiple chips in the paint. $2.56 for the casting, and I think I spent about $2.30 for the decal. So yeah, all in, it's about $4.80. And the paint I did from a photo, here's where I wound up. I don't think this is my oldest casting, but it's certainly a cast made with one of the oldest casts. Does that make sense? But there it is, the Matchbox 60A Morris J2 pickup truck. There will be an episode of The Bench following the video, so if you're interested in that kind of stuff, please stick around. Otherwise, this is TimeRider at Chapter 4, and I'll leave the light on for you. So hey everybody, welcome to another edition of The Bench. You know, I almost don't know where to start because I got a few things that I wanted to talk about, but I guess I'll start right here. Those of you who recall, I'm working on this Oldsmobile, and I'm doing a custom, and I haven't decided what color I'm going to paint it yet. But I continue to work on the casting because whenever I do these customs, I do try to make them as nice as I possibly can. So I also wanted to take a minute and kind of show you what I'm looking at when I'm doing one of these. Somebody had mentioned about the casting lines, and yeah, I'm going to take those out, but as you can see, I got a little bit of a depression here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. The inside of the window posts are really dirty and just need to be filed out. And then, last but not least, there seems to be like a depression down along the leading edge of the hood, and I've been working at it slowly trying to get rid of it, but it's been a process. Secondly, I don't know if you remember me talking about casting I got in a bag, and it's the 60 something or another funny car or dragster. Here's the inside of it. I am working on it. It's a long process though. So yeah, here it is. I did it. I was not happy with that 68C that I did, the Porsche. So I took it apart and I ground out the wheel wells so that I could put a respectable set of tires in there. Then I promptly burned my windshield with my rotary tool, trying to get whatever it is on the inside of the window off. So I actually wound up finding another one of these on the internet, and I ordered it, and I have a windshield coming. I haven't decided what color I'm going to paint it yet. Really not looking for any suggestions. I kind of got an idea tickling around in the back of my mind. It's not going to be green. And I need to do a little bit of adjustment on the axles. But I think that this is a much better look for this car. The old wheel wells look like fender skirts or something. But anyway, moving on. So I finally came to a decision on the Rolls-Royce. I had a lot of really great suggestions. And one of the contributors, Leighton Dylan Gray, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, suggested cream, or ivory, I should say, and that I should color match the convertible boot to the olive green rims. And I just thought that was such a neat idea. And I already know what I'm going to do with the interior of the car, but I am going to try to color match that boot to the green rims. And as you can see here, I don't know if this is ivory. It's got to be something close. I mixed it just using brown and white. A lot of white and a very, very little bit of brown. And I think I threw a drop of red in there as well. But anyway, that's the bench for today. And everybody, please be safe. Subscribe if you'd like. Share if you must. This is TimeRider, and I'll leave a light on for you.